Hey guys, how's it going? Ultimate Memelord here, and welcome to the Sage Awakening video. And this is sort of like a half guide, half impression thing, I guess. So this was I don't know. I think overall, I think the Sage Awakening is actually really fun. Compared to Awakening, compared to Pre-Awakening or Succession, I wasn't really a fan of Pre-Awakening. But Awakening though, this guy's like a total meme lord now. So we just go through the skills here first, and we shall go through what can be done and what can't be. Obviously, there's a lot to be learned here. I've only played this for about a day, and I obviously don't know too much about the pre-awakening, but I think his kit in awakening is really powerful if you mix it with pre-awakening skills. I don't exactly know which ones are useful, but in terms of PvP, Thorn is still like a hands down strong choice in my opinion for PvP if you actually want a PvP. I think this guy will be actually really powerful for one-on-one PvP as well, just based on like playing him so far. I don't really PvP too much, but it just has this like really powerful feeling that I feel like whoever masters like how to play Sage Awakening, he would just be really hard to like handle or difficult to fight against, because he has a lot of movement as well, and it's just all about learning what his class can do. So first off, the grab it can be ranged or melee. This is obviously only for a PvP situation 99% of the time anyways. If you're at melee range, it goes into a bound grab, which isn't so good, but the range grab makes it floating. I think the range grab is actually much better than trying to get melee grabs with this guy. The distance in terms of the range though is about the same as Lon's grab. It was tested on stream with a user named adminlog, so the distance was pretty much about the same distance. So I sort of measured it with like the screen space I have here. So this is about like it's about this distance here, I guess. Oh, maybe. So you should be able to grab a target from about this distance. Wait, hold on. Let me just use this. Let me just use the soldier here. Yeah, you can grab a soldier from about this far. It's about the same distance as Lon grab. Is it this far? Yeah, it's this far. Yeah, so you can grab them and then they go floating. So that's first skill. Lightning Surge. This skill is like really quick and probably part of a movement combo. But another thing is like this is very useful for PvP. It's one thing I wasn't really using when I was practicing in the battle arena with people, and you can cancel this like almost out of anything, and it's really nice spike out of nowhere because it causes stiffness. So you could probably just use Shock Relay and then just spacebar into it anywhere. So like Shock Relay is a forward guard, and then you get a crit buff as well on top. So Lightning Surge, movement, and also like stiffness. Spear Bolt, you want to take this like max, because you'll be using this a lot. This is like a huge movement skill and also like a blinker skill. If you toss it into like a mob over there, you can just like blink into them, and you can toss it and go back and forth. At first, I thought it was kind of jarring with the camera turning around automatically like that, but eventually I got used to it, and it was actually not that bad. So that's one of the other things is like initially this could be very jarring, just like the camera twisting around like this on your target. But as I played the Sage more and more, it actually got kind of used to it. So that's another one. And then Flow Aftershock lets you bolt around the person essentially. So you do need it maxed in order to learn the Aftershock. So you can just keep blasting around the target like that if you want to do that. There's also a laser beam of what the hell's that thing called? The Arcanon or whatever. So when you blink into somebody, that thing comes around and shoots a laser in the spot too. So it's actually really good for PvE and PvP. Rift Storm, this thing I don't really know too much, but like this does a lot of damage to somebody or something knocked down, so it is very strong, but I didn't really get to use it often enough to know. There's very many ways to cancel into a lot of his skills, and same with the Enlightening Bolt. Enlightening Bolt I believe is really powerful because this is also another laser that you can summon out, and lasers are really good with this guy. Like everything is lasers, you shoot lasers all over the place. There's better ways to cancel it. If you cancel it with like Shock Relay, for instance, it's just like instant. Your guy just raises his arm. He doesn't pull his arm back before he raises his hand. That's how you'll know you've canceled. There's many ways to do it. You can even do it after a Spear Bolt. It's just like instant, like more lasers everywhere. You just drop lasers everywhere. It's also really good for PvP as well for Enlightening Bolt because it causes floating and it's an air attack as well, and it lowers your enemy's DP by 20. So it's a lot of damage, especially when they all connect. The only problem is that it doesn't really hit at melee range. You'll notice the area is like sort of in front, which is again why I say like in terms of a grab, you probably want to do the range grab because it'll keep the opponent in the distance where they're in the hit range for the Enlightening Bolt, whereas like at melee, like it could possibly miss or just shoot behind them and then nothing happens or whatever. That happened multiple times when I was just also like battling in the battle arena, so that's another thing to keep in mind. So this is more of a range skill. Divine Executioner is this jump. It's the crazy jump you saw in the trailer. This skill is also really weird. There's also a bit of a timing to it. Once you get used to it, you can actually sort of control it a bit better. So when you press Shift Q and he throws the spear into the sky, once you see that lightning bolt go up, if you left click, you will just appear in like behind the target. Like you don't even have to. You won't see that travel time. You just disappear and go right next behind them like this. And you just like drop down from there. And you can also press Q again if you do that to change your direction and blast forward instead. So if you do Shift Q and then you time the LMB just as the bolt goes up to appear behind them, and then you press Q, you'll also do the lunge forward thing again. So and you just jump all the way back to where I was. So you can do that. You just basically appear on top of like their head and throw a bolt at their head, and then you can press Q and then you fly forward again. So those are like the ways to control the Shift Q. It's really like the old school like Tamer's pole vault. Pretty OP to get out of situations because it's all super armor throughout, and it goes pretty darn far. So you know that's pretty much what it is. And it's called an iframe or whatever. So it's really nice overall. And then Judgment is that's pretty much like the thing where you have to blink. So in order to do that, you do need this maxed out as well to get the Judgment to blink around. You can also do that after a Rift Storm. You just have to like time it again. I don't know if you can do the flow Judgment off of the Rift Storm. I haven't been able to really do that yet. So don't know, but you can skip that like initial toss into the sky if you do it with a Rift Storm. With Lightning Prison, this skill is pretty strong. I call this the Praise the Sun move. This is the Praise the Sun. Alright, there's a lot of damage and it's super armor for the most part until you go into Interrogate. And the Interrogate is like the double FU spears that are like super powerful. This thing is like damage of 1283 x6 or something. Yeah, 1238 x6. But then it does x10 instead in Interrogate, and it's 100% critical. So this thing hits really, really hard on targets on the floor. Trying to cancel into Interrogate is a bit of a challenge, but most of the time you just use the Gorilla Clap skill. I call Upsurge the Gorilla Clap because you can literally just clap the floor and then just like slam something like into the oblivion essentially. Also lowers knockdown resistance by 30% at max level. I think this skill is really, really powerful. It's all about learning to cancel into Upsurge. If you don't cancel Upsurge, you'll notice how much slower it is. It's like he plants the spear in the floor and then raises his body before he actually like stretches his arms out or like gorilla claps the floor. If you want to gorilla clap the floor, you have to like shift RMB and then LMB. Shift RMB and then LMB for frontal attack. So there's multiple ways about it. So shift RMB, and then when he raises his arm, that's how you gorilla clap the floor. Other ways is like right after the spear bolt, you can gorilla clap the floor right after a spear bolt. You don't even have to hold LMB for that. It's just naturally going to gorilla clap with a spear bolt. If you do it after Ator's spear, it's also another gorilla clap. Okay. Ator's spear is pretty good to combo with that because Ator's spear causes a knockdown, and then this also causes down attack, and it also lowers knockdown resistance. So you might want to like maybe tag this on your target first so you have a higher chance of knockdown, or either that if you're going for damage then you want to try and knock them down first before going Upsurge. So I don't really know, or either that depending on your timings and whatnot. So you can definitely chain combo all those things together. So it's you 8-tor spear into a rift storm is all pretty much instant. There's no animation. It's animation skipping certain things so that the skill comes out faster. So 8-tor spear into like a rift storm, you can go straight into a divine executioner after that too. And then after the gorilla clapping, you can also gorilla crapping, yeah. After the gorilla crapping, you can also do interrogate as well. So, you know, against mobs that could be very devastating, as this is like, you know, 1 and 2, 3 spears here in the massive AoE all down attack. I would suspect that something like that would probably just like delete mobs at like Star's End after you blow up the crystal, for instance. And you just add like down attack bonus modifiers on this or something, or critical. The critical rates on these are really high. This is 50% itself already, and then this is 100% for interrogate. Impaling Flash is like another spear bolt. So you can probably use these both together, but Impaling Flash is like, it's sort of like a Wolf's Frenzy on like Striker and Mystic, so you can kind of blink around on the targets that latch onto it. In terms of PvP though, Impaling Flash actually slows your opponent's move speed, cast speed, and everything by 25% for a very short time. The short time I determined with viewers as well was 3 seconds. I think it was like 12 that helped us all figure that one out, as well as admin log where we were dueling. It's 25%. That's actually really strong, and it stacks with all the skill add-ons too. So that's really strong for both PvE and PvP, because you can use this as movement for grinding as well. So you can blink into this person and then throw another spear here, and then like just shift E and blink into this person here, and then like, you know, when you're tired of this area, you just blast off to another area and just keep going from there. I'm sure there's other things like around with pre-awakening that can be worked in there as well. Shock relay, you want this skill as fast as possible. Almost everything starts off with shock relay, and if you ask me, because for some reason when you use shock relay before you use any other skill, it almost like makes it come out twice as fast, or like just faster essentially. So what I discovered while I was playing Sage was that you could like insta blink into a target with Spearbolt and Shock Relay, and it'll cause stiffness too if you're within range and it locks onto the person unprotected or whatever. So like, say for instance, like I want to get this soldier over here, I use Shock Relay and Spearbolt, it's gonna happen so fast that I can't talk while it happens because it just doesn't make any sense. Oh shit, I went Superman mode instead. Okay, so you just like C-swap into here, and then boom, and then like you're already over here. So that's pretty crazy. Okay, I thought that was pretty nuts, and you can pretty much have that happen almost all the time. Eventually, like, I just ended up like doing it way too often, and then I built like a bad habit of doing it all the time because I was just like, oh yes. And it's just like, oh, okay, and it's like now you just like blast off everywhere. It's pretty addicting. That's what I thought was pretty fun, because you could just latch onto mobs like that and just go behind them. And the other thing is, like, when you latch behind them like that, well, you know, it's free back attacks on anything because it's so fast, and then you just like gorilla clap them in the back too. So you know, the ape clapping, you know, just clapping your opponent's cheeks and whatever, it's the way to go with this guy. Chain lightning, also very powerful. I don't have the skill points to get it. I should get it. This thing is, I didn't really use this too much in PvE, but it is really strong. For some reason, it's got down attack on it as well. I tried it with a grab combo in PvP, and I was like, wow, this thing is like really strong. And you can just down RMB, and then it'll probably go into a shock relay, and then you can probably just cancel that into something else, like a 8-tor spear, and then just continue on with more lasers on the floor. So those are just like the awakening. You can pretty much mix and mash a lot of the skills together. So we'll just go through some of them here again. Upsurge you can also use right after shock relay. You can use almost anything after shock relay, and it's just like boom, and then bam, like instant upsurge. So instead of gorilla clapping, you do a gorilla squat instead. That is, I think even with the divine jump, you can. Oh, the jump is like sort of not really that fast with the shock, but praise the sun for sure comes out faster. Here, praise the sun, and then just throw 2 spears. Or it's better to actually praise the sun and then do a gorilla clap into the spears. This is more memelordy doing it that way. So you just you know, do this, and then you Gorilla Clap, and then you throw the spears. Now, another crazy thing discovered on a stream was like reset and pre-awakening. So, you know, if for some reason, if you take this on pre-awakening and you, you know, you Q buff, and then you also reset, and then you Q buff again, that somehow works to stack twice on here. So I don't know if this is really like AP plus 60 and ignore res plus 60%. And if that is, that's actually pretty freaking wild. Okay, so, you know, you can also, like, with the reset, you can also, you know, double clap your foes, essentially, with double gorilla claps. So that's also fun as well. And just, like, wow. So overall, when you have everything down together, this class becomes kind of wild, out of control. It takes a bit of getting used to, but honestly, I find it pretty fun. Most of the time, I'm not gonna hard reroll, but like if I had to mess around with a class, I would definitely play Sage Awakening just to fuck around, and it's pretty fun actually. Shooting lasers everywhere, throwing spears, jumping up, looking at the earth like a god like this, and then like just like pressing left mouse button to see where you want to drop. You don't have to drop on the spot, but yeah, the Divine Executioner, definitely learning how to control it with the judgment is really useful. Even in PvPing, like just getting out or like landing on your opponent is pretty important here. Also, using Bolt, which is the sidestep or whatever, you can also use that to cancel into skills like Enlightening Bolt if you want. So that's another fast way to trigger a float on your opponent if you believe you can catch them like that. So using the cancel, like the dash cancel, is another way. But overall, I think Sage is pretty fun. Even more so when you got more attack casting speed. One of the problems I have right now is obviously a skill point problem. We have 659 skill points, so it's kind of depressing. You obviously need all your Ancient's Wisdom here just for that 5% cast rate boost. It will be very, very helpful with keeping up the speed. In terms of Awakening, the class already plays pretty fast. I don't think it would need any more casting speed than it already has or can possess. Compared to Pre-Awakening, Pre-Awakening felt really, really slow compared to Awakening. And once you know like the cancels and you've mastered the class a bit better, honestly, I think like the Sage Awakening can get kind of out of control. But yeah, other than that, that's it. That's all I have for this. And then skill enhancements, even like skill enhancement, Ator's Illusion here, this would be really good for PvP in my opinion, because this comes out so fast. And it's a stun too. Looks pretty powerful, to be honest. And the cooldown is only 10 seconds. So, and that AoE in the front is pretty large. It's like a shotgun. And Energized Thorn, this thing is really powerful for PvE. And Piercing Thorn, honestly, this looks like it's total AIDS for, this is like super strong for PvP, I would think. 11 seconds and it's a ranged explosion knockdown. So with a 50% critical. Oh, this one has 50% crit too, but this one's more, Energized Thorn is more of a PvE skill in my opinion, just because of the multipliers, but it has no CC. But Piercing Thorn is like if you wanna actually like destroy things. Other as well for weapon switching, if you put Radiant Annihilation on the quick slot, this is a weapon switcher. Another weapon switcher is just Spear Bolt by pressing forward F. I haven't really discovered any other way to switch into Awakening other than Spear Bolt and Radiant Annihilation. Oh, and Lightning Surge. Lightning Surge, if you just press spacebar and Pre-Awakening, will bring you into it. But then to swap to Pre-Awakening, according to the people who have played Sage quite a bit, they said that a lot of the skills in Pre-Awakening, if you quick slot them, you can swap over into Pre-Awakening using quick slots. Let's try some of these. It probably does work. Let's see here. Yeah, you can just like quick slot swap. So that also works. Otherwise, if you're looking for key imp presses, then Form Shift is one of them that you can use to swap to Pre-Awakening. Another two are basically the enhance the enhanced skills or bombs, if you quick slot these or just press Shift X or Shift Z, they also work. And then you can also switch back. 8 Thorn, again, like I said, when you have enough skill points, this is absolutely like super powerful for PvP. Given that this makes your opponent lose negative 50% move speed and you gain so much movement in Awakening, yeah, this would be pretty devastating in my opinion, just like in terms of a theory. I don't have enough skill points to try it, but just in theory, I'm pretty certain that that would be very, very powerful for Awakening kit, as well as getting some of these core pre-Awakening skills to use with it. So that's pretty much all I have to go about. I don't have enough experience. It's only about like 3 or 4 hours of play on the Sage here. 17 hours like logged in AFK essentially. And yeah, that's it. So hopefully you have some fun blasting mobs as a Sage, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.